The ultimatum Commander David Morgan stood in the observation deck of Orbital Station Sentinel, watching Earth rotate peacefully below. A blue and green planet looked so calm, so beautiful. He had no idea that in the next few minutes, everything would change forever. The communication console behind him suddenly erupted with alarms. Lieutenant Sarah Blake rushed to her station, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Commander, we have an incoming transmission." Sarah's voice was tight with tension. "It's not from any Earth vessel. This signal is massive, coming from beyond Neptune's orbit." David turned sharply. "Put it on screen, immediately." The main display flickered to life, and what appeared made everyone in the observation deck freeze. A creature stood before them, tall and covered in dark scales that seemed to absorb light. Its eyes glowed red like burning coals, and when it spoke, its voice rumbled like distant thunder. "I am High Commander Vexer of the Crithian Dominion." The being announced, its massive clawed hand resting on what looked like a ceremonial weapon. "Your species has been observed. Your planet has been evaluated. You will surrender within 48 hours. David felt his heart pounding, but kept his voice steady. "This is Commander David Morgan of the United Terran Defense Force. Earth is a sovereign world. We don't take orders from anyone." Vexer's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You misunderstand, human. This is not a negotiation. This is a statement of fact. The Crithian Dominion has conquered 847 worlds across 12 galaxies. Your primitive civilization cannot hope to resist us." The screen shifted, showing images that made David's blood run cold. Entire planets burning, cities reduced to ash, alien species in chains, their eyes empty of hope. The Crithian Dominion had been expanding for thousands of years, crushing every civilization in their path. "Those who surrender immediately are allowed to serve us as workers." Vexer continued, "Those who resist are eliminated completely. Your species will choose wisely." David looked at the destruction on the screen, and back at Vexer's cruel face. "And what happens to our children if we surrender?" "They become soldiers for the Dominion," Vexer said simply, as if discussing the weather. "Trained from birth to fight for us." "This is a great honor." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the observation deck in shocked silence. David immediately contacted Earth. Within an hour, he was standing before the United Terran Council in Geneva. The council chamber was filled with Earth's leaders, all of them looking at the replay of Vexer's message with expressions ranging from fear to fury. President Elizabeth Chun sat at the head of the table, her face grave. She had led Earth through economic crises and natural disasters, but nothing like this. "We need options." President Chun said quietly. Dr. Robert Hassan, Earth's chief scientist, spoke up first. "Our analysis of their transmission shows their technology is roughly 200 years ahead of ours in most areas. Their fleet, based on the energy signatures we detected, consists of at least 500 capital ships. Each one could destroy a city with a single shot." General Marcus Webb, head of the Terran Defense Force, shook his head. "Our conventional forces wouldn't last an hour against that kind of firepower. We have 40 warships total. They have 500, and each of theirs is probably 10 times more powerful." Ambassador Liu Wei from the Asian Union spoke carefully. "Perhaps we should consider their offer. Surrender might be terrible, but extinction is worse. At least if we surrender, humanity survives in some form." The room erupted in argument. Some agreed that survival in any form was better than complete destruction. Others insisted that life as slaves wasn't life at all. President Chun raised her hand for silence. "There is something most of you don't know about." She looked at General Webb. "It's time to tell them about Project Black Armada." The general stood slowly. "For the past 15 years, we've been preparing for exactly this scenario." He activated a holographic display that showed hundreds of sleek, dark vessels. When we first detected alien signals 20 years ago, we knew contact was inevitable. We also knew that any species capable of reaching us would probably be more advanced. So we started thinking differently. Dr. Hassan continued the explanation. We couldn't match alien technology directly, so we didn't try. Instead, we focused on what humans do best: adapting, improvising, and using unconventional strategies. Project Black Armada isn't about building bigger ships. It's about building smarter ones. The hologram zoomed in on one of the dark vessels. These are Ghost-class frigates. General Webb explained. They're small, fast, and almost impossible to detect. Each one is controlled by advanced AI that can make split-second decisions. They don't fight like traditional warships. They fight like a pack of wolves hunting prey much larger than themselves. But there's more, Dr. Hassan added. We've developed weapons based on principles the aliens don't use. Quantum disruption missiles that can phase through shields. Gravitational mines that create artificial black holes. Nanite swarms that can dismantle enemy ships from the inside out. Commander Morgan, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke. How many ships do we have? 2,000 Ghost-class frigates. General Webb replied. 500 Phantom destroyers, 100 Reaper-class carriers, and one command ship that coordinates them all. They've been hidden in the asteroid belt, in the outer planets even. In Earth's own orbit, using stealth technology the aliens have never seen. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. President Shun looked around the table. So we have a chance. A slim one, General Webb admitted. The Krithian fleet is still more powerful in direct combat. But we're not going to fight them directly. We're going to hit them in ways they never expect. From angles they can't predict. With weapons they don't understand. Ambassador Liu Wei shook his head. Even if we somehow win, we'll be sending a message to the entire galaxy. Earth is hostile. Other alien species will come for us. Then let them come. President Chun said firmly, because they'll also learn another message, that humanity doesn't surrender, that we fight for our freedom no matter the cost, that anyone who threatens our home will face consequences they never imagined. The vote was close but clear. Earth would reject the Krithian ultimatum. They would fight. As the council meeting ended, David returned to Orbital Station Sentinel. He had 30 hours before the deadline expired. 30 hours to prepare for a battle. That would determine whether humanity lived free or died fighting. Lieutenant Blake approached him as he entered the command center. The crews of the Black Armada are ready, Commander. They're waiting for your order. David looked out at Earth one more time. Somewhere down there, children were playing. Families were having dinner. People were falling in love, arguing, laughing, living their lives. They had no idea that above them, hidden in the darkness of space, an armada of ghost ships waited to defend them. Asterisk activate all Black Armada units, David ordered. Move them into position. Silent running protocols. We let the Krithians think we're helpless right up until we're not. Across the solar system, 2,600 warships began to move. They drifted through the asteroid belt like shadows. They positioned themselves near Earth's moon, invisible to sensors. They spread out across the inner planets, creating a web of death that the Krithians would fly right into. The aliens thought they were coming to conquer a primitive species. They had no idea they were about to face something the galaxy had never seen before. Human ingenuity mixed with desperate determination and absolute refusal to surrender. High Commander Vexer sat in his command throne aboard the flagship Dominion's Fist, counting down the hours until Earth's deadline expired. He had conquered hundreds of worlds, and they all followed the same pattern. First came fear, then came acceptance, then came surrender. Humans would be no different. He was wrong. When the 48 hours ended and Earth's response came through, Vexor actually laughed. The message was simple and delivered by President Shun herself. The people of Earth have considered your demand. Our answer is no. We will not surrender. We will not serve you. And we will not let you take our children. If you want Earth, you'll have to take it from us. Come and try. Vexor roared with laughter. Brave words from insects about to be crushed. All ships set course for Earth. Full speed. We will make an example of this world that the entire galaxy will remember. The Crithian fleet began moving toward Earth. 500 massive warships gleaming in the starlight. It was the largest invasion force the Dominion had assembled in centuries. They expected an easy victory. What they got instead would become a legend that would echo across the galaxy for generations. The Black Armada was rising, and the Crithians were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their ships or their technology. It was their absolute refusal to give up, no matter the odds. The Black Armada rises. The Crithian fleet entered Earth's solar system like a storm of steel and fire. High Commander Vexor stood on the bridge of Dominion's fist, watching the blue planet grow larger on his screens. Around him, 500 warships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. The fleet had destroyed entire civilizations, and Earth would be no different. Our sensors are scanning the planet, reported Sub-Commander Drax, a smaller Crithian with silver scales. We detect minimal military presence. Approximately 40 primitive warships in orbit. No significant defenses. No planetary shields. This will be easier than expected. Vexor smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Begin the attack. Target their orbital stations first. Show them what happens to species that refuse the Dominion. The Crithian ships opened fire. Massive energy beams lanced through space toward Earth's orbital installations. Explosions blossomed in the darkness as several stations were hit. Debris scattered across Earth's orbit. Down on the planet, billions of people looked up at the sky and saw flashes of light, knowing their world was under attack. President Shun watched from the underground command center in Geneva, her face pale but determined. General Webb stood beside her, monitoring multiple displays that showed the battle unfolding above. Our decoy stations are destroyed. Webb reported calmly. The Crithians think they're winning. Good. Let them think that a little longer. Commander Morgan sat in the hidden command ship Nightfall, positioned behind Earth's moon. Around him, his crew worked in focused silence. Every screen showed the positions of both the Crithian fleet and the Black Armada vessels. The aliens had no idea they were surrounded. They're moving into the kill zone. Lieutenant Blake said quietly, "All Black Armada units are in position and awaiting your command." David watched as the Crithian fleet advanced confidently toward Earth, spreading out to begin their planetary bombardment. They were so certain of victory that they hadn't bothered with defensive formations. It was the mistake that would cost them everything. All units, this is Nightfall Actual. David's voice was steady and cold. Execute Operation Dark Sky. Authorization Morgan, Alpha 7. Engage. Across the solar system, 2,600 warships suddenly came to life. The Ghost-class frigates activated their engines, dropping their stealth fields for just a moment. The Phantom destroyers armed their weapons. The Reaper carriers launched thousands of fighter drones, and all of them moved as one coordinated force, striking from every direction at once. The first Crithian ship to die never even knew what hit it. A pack of 12 Ghost frigates emerged from the asteroid belt, their quantum disruption missiles phasing through the aliens' shields as if they didn't exist. The warship exploded in a brilliant flash, and the Crithians finally realized they weren't alone. "Commander, our sensors are detecting multiple contacts." Drax shouted, his voice rising in panic. "Hundreds of them." No thousands. Where did they come from? Vexor stared at his screens in disbelief. The space around his fleet was suddenly filled with human ships, appearing like ghosts from the darkness. They were small, fast, and attacking with tactics he had never seen before. Return fire. Vexor roared. Destroy them all. The Crithian fleet tried to respond, their massive weapons tracking the human vessels. But the ghost frigates were too fast, dodging and weaving through space in patterns that seemed impossible. The Phantom destroyers used the larger Crithian ships as cover, firing from behind their own fleet. And the fighter drones swarmed like angry insects, too small and numerous to effectively target. A Crithian battlecruiser fired its main cannon at a cluster of human frigates. The beam missed as the ships scattered in different directions. Before the battlecruiser could recharge, 6 frigates hit it from different angles with gravitational mines. The mines activated, creating tiny artificial black holes that tore the massive ship apart from the inside. Another Crithian vessel tried to use its point defense systems against the fighter drones. Thousands of small laser turrets filled space with deadly light. But for every drone destroyed, 10 more took its place. The drones weren't trying to destroy the ship. They were delivering nanite payloads, microscopic machines that landed on the hull and began eating through the armor, spreading like a technological plague. Commander Morgan watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. The Black Armada wasn't fighting like a traditional fleet. They were fighting like hunters, like predators who understood that size and strength meant nothing against speed and intelligence. Target their command ship. David ordered. All Reaper carriers. Launch assault pattern Delta. Focus everything on Dominion's Fist. 100 carrier ships. Turn toward Vexor's flagship. Each one launched its full complement of drones and missiles. The sky filled with thousands of projectiles, all heading toward a single target. Shields to maximum. Vexor commanded, watching the human attack approach. All defensive batteries. Fire at will. Dominion's Fist was the most powerful ship in the Crithian fleet. Its shields could withstand the firepower of an entire enemy navy. Its weapons could destroy planets. But it had never faced anything like the Black Armada. The first wave of missiles hit the shields and exploded, creating brilliant flashes of light. The shields held. The second wave hit, then the third. The shields began to flicker. And then the nanite drones arrived. They were too small for the defensive systems to target effectively. Billions of microscopic machines landed on the hull and shields, beginning their programmed task. They didn't try to break through the shields with force. They simply ate the energy projectors that generated the shields. Within minutes, entire sections of Dominion's Fist lost their protective barriers. Now, David commanded, hit them with everything. 20 Phantom destroyers emerged from behind Earth's moon, their main cannons already charged. They fired simultaneously, 20 beams of concentrated energy striking the flagship where its shields had failed. The damage was catastrophic. Explosions rippled across the hull. Entire decks were exposed to space. The mighty Dominion's Fist, pride of the Crithian fleet, was crippled. Impossible. Vexor whispered, staring at the damage reports flooding his screens. This cannot be happening. We are the Crithian Dominion. We have conquered 847 worlds. How can these primitives defeat us? Sub-Commander Drax looked at his commander with fear in his eyes. Sir, we've lost 127 ships. Our formation is broken. The humans are everywhere. We can't track them all. They fight like nothing we've ever encountered. Vexor realized the terrible truth. The Crithians had always fought with overwhelming force and superior technology. They had never needed strategy or creativity. They had never faced an enemy that refused to fight fairly. And now they were paying the price for their arrogance. All ships retreat. Vexor commanded, his voice hollow. fall back to the outer system, regroup, but the humans weren't going to let them escape that easily. As the Crithian fleet tried to withdraw, they found their escape routes blocked by ghost frigates and phantom destroyers. The Black Armada had positioned itself perfectly, turning the battle into a trap. Every direction the Crithians turned, they faced more human ships. Commander Morgan opened a channel to the entire Crithian fleet. His voice broadcast to every enemy ship, cold and clear. "This is Commander David Morgan of Earth. You came here demanding our surrender. You threatened our children. You promised to destroy our world. Now you'll learn what happens when you threaten humanity. We don't surrender. We fight. And we never forget." The battle raged for 3 more hours. Every minute, more Crithian ships fell. Some tried to fight and were overwhelmed by coordinated attacks. Others tried to flee and were hunted down by the faster human vessels. By the end, only a handful of Crithian ships remained, including the badly damaged Dominion's Fist. Vexor stood on his ruined bridge, fires burning around him, his crew dead or dying. A communication request came through from the humans. He accepted it, seeing Commander Morgan's face appear on his cracked screen. "You have a choice, High Commander." David said, "You can die here with honor, or you can return to your Dominion and deliver a message." Vexor's red eyes burned with hatred and humiliation. "What message?" "Tell them that Earth is not for conquest. Tell them that humanity will defend itself against anyone who threatens us. Tell them that if they send another fleet, we'll destroy that one too. And tell every species in the galaxy that has been conquered by your Dominion that resistance is possible, that freedom can be won, that no empire lasts forever." David's expression hardened. "Go now, before I change my mind." The surviving Crithian ships limped away from Earth, their mighty fleet reduced to broken remnants. As they disappeared into the darkness of space, the Black Armada remained on patrol, ready for whatever came next. Down on Earth, people emerged from shelters and looked up at the sky. They had won. Against impossible odds, against an enemy that had conquered hundreds of worlds, humanity had stood firm and emerged victorious. President Shun stood in the command center, tears streaming down her face. General Webb put a hand on her shoulder. "We did it," he said quietly. "We actually did it." Shun nodded, unable to speak. But both of them knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had learned that Earth existed. Other species would come, some as enemies, some as allies. But they would all learn the same lesson the Crithians had learned today. Humanity would never surrender. Commander Morgan remained on the Nightfall, watching Earth rotate peacefully below. The planet had been scarred by the battle, but it survived. Humanity survived. And the Black Armada, born from desperation and ingenuity, had proven that humans belonged among the stars. Lieutenant Blake approached him with a smile. "Commander, we're receiving transmissions from all over the galaxy. Word of our victory is spreading. Some species are asking if Earth will help them fight for their freedom too." David thought about that. The Crithian Dominion had conquered 847 worlds. How many other species were living in slavery, dreaming of freedom, but believing it was impossible? What would happen if Earth showed them that resistance could succeed? One battle at a time. David said finally, "First, we rebuild. We strengthen our defenses. We prepare for whatever comes next. But yes, if species want to fight for their freedom, Earth will stand with them. Because that's what humans do. We fight for what's right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." The Black Armada remained in Earth's orbit, a silent promise to anyone watching. They had demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, the Black Armada rose. And the galaxy would never forget.